Before we start episode 1, I'd like to clarify a few things. This Spider-Man show will have a more gritty and grounded take rather than just trying to appeal to kids. I still think that kids would enjoy this show, but its main focus would be the story, not the audience. This version of Peter Parker will also still be in high school. I know we've overused Spider-Man High School for years in the adaptations, but I feel like we have to do it for some characters and story building. And that is the way we can start the series. Episode's one main focus will be introducing us to the status quo of Spider-Man. Spider-Man at this point in Peter's career will be beloved, and we'll see a montage of him stopping crimes to show us what the public thinks of him. However, Peter Parker will be an embarrassment, always being bullied and picked on by other students. We will get a scene where Peter arrives for class late and it's already over because he was out doing Spider-Man stuff and the teacher won't be happy with him. We will also get introduced to Harry Osborn, Peter's best friend, and their interactions will be fruitful. Peter will talk to the teacher who says that he's failing class and he's going to need a tutor, and the tutor is revealed to be Gwen Stacy. Gwen in this universe will be different. Too many adaptations have her the same, whereas this one will introduce Gwen as a cool, calm, but yet threatening character. She won't be as brainy as the original one, but she will still be pretty smart. We then are introduced to Flash Thompson, and his backstory will be the same in most adaptations. He will be bullying Peter, but it's actually revealed him and Peter used to be childhood friends until Flash decided to be popular, he needed to put him down. But Gwen will surprisingly stick up for Peter, and she tells him they're going to be late for the field trip and they can talk study notes on the way. Peter will be impressed, and he will be shown to have a bit of feelings for Gwen. But he's worried that he might mess up like he messed up with everything in his life. Like I said, a main theme is the pain that Spider-Man brings. The field trip will be at Oscorp as we are introduced to this universe, and a lot of the machines are state-of-the-art, and Peter will be shown to geek out on a lot of them, showing these traits as personality. He loves science and isn't afraid to show it. Out of nowhere, a villain called the Rhino will break into Oscorp, causing all the students to flee in fear, and Peter will sigh, saying, why do these things always happen to him? The main theme of this episode will be the duality of Spider-Man, how it always crosses over in both identity. Peter knows that if he wants to change into Spider-Man, he'll have to cause a distraction, so he pushes Flash into Gwen, causing Gwen to think that Flash rescued her while Peter goes into a back alley to change. The purpose of scenes like this will show Peter's clumsiness. He is not ready to be Spider-Man. Sure, he's been doing it for about 2 years, but still he's just in high school and he is still just a kid, so he doesn't have as efficient methods as he used to. As Spider-Man rushes into battle to fight the Rhino, the lesson that Peter will learn in this episode will be how to avoid direct contact. The Rhino will also point out that the Bugle calls him the Menace, giving us an Easter egg to the Daily Bugle that may come in handy in future episodes. We also get a tease that Spider-Man and the Rhino have fought earlier in their career, and the Rhino remarks that Spider-Man beat him, but he won't again. These little subtle hints will provide insight into Spider-Man's career. He may be new, but he still has a short window of experience. All of the Rhino's attacks seem to be too much for Peter that Spider-Man will lose, but this is where Peter realizes how to defeat the Rhino. He has way too much strength, so Spider-Man will avoid the impact, and the Rhino will knock himself out after hitting the wall. Spider-Man has defeated the Rhino, and there will be hints that he works for a bigger player, maybe the Magia crime family, but Spider-Man has saved the day. A large piece of rubble will be falling, and Peter barely manages to pick it up as he will demonstrate the lesson of strength. Gwen Stacy will then be in the crowd asking if anyone's seen Peter, showing that she may actually have some interest in him other than just a study partner. Spider-Man rescues Gwen and places her down safely. Gwen will ask him questions as if she's like a reporter, trying to show more of her character in these scenes is she has a fierce nature, but Spider-Man won't answer any of them as her voice is getting too close and he doesn't want her to suspect anything before swinging off. Peter then rejoins the group, and Gwen says that she's happy he was safe as she's worried about him, and Peter hides a smile, and it is clear that they may be starting the seeds for a relationship. Flash Thompson will then make a joke at Peter, but Gwen will look him to be quiet. And Harry Osborn then enters, introducing Peter to his father, and a major player, Norman Osborn. Norman will be cold, calculating, and cares little about his company. However, he takes an interest in Peter. He remarks that Harry says that he knows quite a lot of science, that he's something of a scientist himself. Peter will tell Norman about some of his breakthrough knowledge, and Norman will be proud, saying that his parents must be very proud, showing some references. But he tells Harry that he doesn't seem to have as much knowledge as Peter, and Harry will sigh. Peter will get home after a long day of work, and we're introduced to the Aunt May of this universe. She'll be the same kind, caring person that Peter's always knew, who's looking out for him. Peter has learned in this episode to never give up as his arc comes to an end. We get a scene of Norman Osborn displaying his ruthlessness, asking his employees what happened. They explained to Norman how Spider-Man actually helped. The Rhino is going to steal stolen data from Oscorp, but it's actually thanks to Spider-Man's intervention. Norman says to his employees that if anything ever happens, he'll hold them responsible. Norman will be cold, calculating, and cares about his business. They explain to Norman, Spider-Man is here. Norman smirks, saying a new player is on board as the episode ends.